gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back to another half-hour segment. And now, this is our third half-hour segment, which means that probably I have one person, one victim, una víctima aquí, all right, for me. And that person, I think you've met her. I think. If you've been watching these programs regularly, if you have been watching these programs on a regular basis, es una de las formas de ver estos programas de forma regular, okay, con cierta regularidad. If you have been watching these programs regularly, or if you've been watching these programs on a regular basis, then probably you know Monica. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, tengo un reto siempre con Mónica, es encontrar una forma de que bueno, echarle la zancadilla lingüísticamente. It's impossible. She gets everything right. In my last class with Monica, she made one mistake in 25 minutes. All right, so she's going to make more mistakes today. Eh? Yeah, I'm going to make her work today. Okay, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, listen, ask me if donkeys and mules should be used for everyday transportation.
Should donkeys and mules be used for everyday transportation?
Not really. I don't think so. Yeah, have you ever ridden a donkey?
No, I haven't.
Have you ever ridden a mule?
No, I haven't.
Have you ever ridden a horse?
Yes, I have.
Really?
Yes.
All right. Do you know how to ride horses?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay. Are they dangerous?
Yes, they are.
All right. Ask me if I've ever ridden a donkey.
Have you ever ridden a donkey?
Yes, I have. All right. A little burro. Yeah, a little donkey. Okay. In Mexico. Now, have we, in your opinion, have we created a better world in our generation?
I don't think so.
Well, speak about your generation. We're from different generations. Ask me if my generation has created a better world.
Has your generation created a better world?
I think so. Now, my question, has your generation created a better world?
I don't think so.
I think so.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes, you have. You go back 50 years. Go back 50 years. This includes both our generations. Of this at that time, maybe 5 billion people, 5 millones, the 5 billion people on the planet Earth, at least 2 billion were below the poverty line and lived on subsistence with poor water systems, poor health facilities. Now, that's 2 billion people. That's 40% of the world population. That was 50 years ago. Now, today, out of the 6 billion, out of the 6 billion people who live on this planet, only about 1.5 million are still below the poverty line who live hand to mouth. Mm-hmm. So we say they live hand to mouth, which means it's been a very big improvement. Okay? People live materially better. In general, there are millions and millions and millions of exceptions, but in general, people live better today than 50 years ago. And it's thanks to your generation and my generation. So let me repeat the question. Have we created a better world in our generation?
Yes, we have.
Of course. Come on. You're creating a better world all the time with your work. Yeah. You're creating different ways, or you're promoting and enhancing ways of, enhance is realzar or mejorar, is ways of attending people's health concerns. How do you say preocupaciones sanitarias? Health concerns. And so you're a telecommunications engineer, but you work in things that are directly related to improving or maintaining people's health. And 50 years ago, what you do was not done.
No.
Life was much more precarious 50 years ago for many more people than it is today. Life is still precarious, and it will always be precarious for the rest of the history of humanity. But we are certainly finding ways to reduce the degree of precariousness in life, okay? Do you consider life precarious?
No, I don't.
No, but it is. Come on, it is. I mean, you can leave this studio today and have an accident and be killed in a car crash or anything. So you never know. Even the ceiling here could fall. You know, and everybody on TV would see, profesor de inglés perece en estudio de grabación, okay, junto con su alumna. Okay, so life is precarious, but it's much less precarious than before. and material well-being. ¿Cómo se dice bienestar?
Material well-being.
Bueno, material sí, espiritual también.
Well-being.
Spiritual well-being perhaps is another consideration which I really don't know. But material well-being is much greater than 100 years ago, and even 50 years ago, which it's an interesting debate, it's an interesting consideration, whether material well-being has a positive impact or a less positive impact on spiritual well-being. That's an interesting question. We'll talk about that another day, okay? Question. Well, no, you asked me. Ask me if I was sleepy when I went to bed last night.
Were you sleepy when you went to bed last night?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't sleepy when I went to bed last night. Ask me why.
Why weren't you sleepy when you went to bed last night?
Because I took a nap.
Okay.
Yeah. Ask me if I take a nap every day.
Did you take a nap every day?
No, I don't. Ask me why I took a nap yesterday.
Why did you take a nap yesterday?
Good, repeat.
Why did you take a nap?
Perdona?
Why did you take a nap?
Why? No dices bien why.
Okay.
Entiendo what?
Oh, why?
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 Tell me, do you know the song by the Beatles? Tell me why you lie and why you cry to me. Okay, why?
Okay.
Why?
Why?
Okay. Ask me why I took a nap yesterday.
Why did you take a nap yesterday?
Because I was bored after lunch. I was bored.
Okay.
Ask me why I was bored after lunch.
Why were you bored after lunch?
Don't tell anybody.
Okay.
But you see, I had lunch yesterday in the house of some relatives of my wife.
Okay.
And I was with my wife. And in the sobremesa, you say, after, okay? They were talking about less significant things, all right? And I simply, sitting on the couch, and I fell asleep. Ask me how long I slept.
How long did you sleep?
I slept like this for about 1 hour. So I wasn't sleepy in the evening. Ask me what I did to become sleepy.
What did you do to become sleepy?
I read a book. I read many pages of a book.
Okay.
Ask me what the book's about.
What's the book about?
It's about Julius Caesar. Yeah. Ask me if I have finished it yet.
Have you finished it yet?
No, I don't. No, I haven't. Ask me how many pages I have left.
How many pages do you have left?
I only have about 30 or 40 pages left. It's near the end of Los Idus de Marzo. Have you ever heard of Los Idus or Las Idus de Marzo?
No, I haven't.
Come on. The Ides of March. You never heard of that?
No.
¿Te suena? Idus de
No.
Marzo. Creo que es los o las. I don't know. It's not a Spanish word. It's a Latin word. But you see, Julius Caesar. You understand Julius Caesar?
Yes, I think
No son
so.
las tijeras de Julia, no. Julius Scissors, no.
Okay.
Julio Cesar. Julius Caesar was assassinated
Uh-huh.
by 23 senators on the 15th of March. Okay, 44 antes de Cristo, ¿cómo se dice?
Before Christ,
Bueno, con las letritas.
BC.
Good. Julius Caesar was assassinated in 44 BC in the Roman Senate by 23 senators. And that was the Ides of March. El Idus es el día 15 de cada mes.
Okay.
All right, I think, or it could be the 13th. The middle of each month is considered the Ides of March. And when, according to Shakespeare, okay, well, this is true that people, his wife, Calpurnia, said, don't go to the Senate today. She was superstitious. And other people said, there was rumors that something was going to happen. Now, Julius Shakespeare, my God, William Shakespeare, estoy fino hoy. William Shakespeare, all right, wrote one of his tragedies was Julius Caesar, Julius Caesar. He had another tragedy called Antony and Cleopatra. That's another story. But in Julius Caesar, when he's walking to the Senate, an old man in the crowd says to him, beware of the Ides of March. Beware, one word means tenga cuidado con. Okay? And beware of the Ides of March. And he didn't pay any attention to what the man said. And when he reached the Senate, he died. He was killed. He was assassinated. So, Los Idus de Marzo, and I don't know, yes, it's at that period of his life that I'm reading now.
Okay.
Ask me how many pages there are in the book.
How many pages are there in the book?
About 1,000.
Okay.
All right. Ask me if I have read other books about Julius Caesar.
Have you read other books about Julius Caesar?
Yes, I have. Ask me why I like that character in history.
Why do you like that character in history?
I'm trying to figure out his personality. All right? He was a very strange person. Certain people in history are interesting from the psychological point of view. And you can learn interesting things and learn a lot by studying these people. Other people are less interesting. Napoleon, for example, is a person, it's interesting to read about his life, but I don't understand him and his motivations. I understand Caesar's motivations, but it's intriguing, the psychological composición, makeup of his character. Okay, como maquillaje. Maquillaje realmente es una composición. Makeup. And the psychological makeup of this man, Julius Caesar, is extreme. Is very, very interesting. Ask me how old he was when he was assassinated.
How old was he when he was assassinated?
He was 56. All right. Ask me when he was born.
When was he born?
No me gusta la intonación.
When was he born?
When was he born? Siempre así. When was he born?
Okay.
He was born in the year 100 BC. 100 BC. Okay. And ask me who took over for him after he died.
Who took over for him after he died?
3, there was a triumvirate. Mark Antony. Okay. And Brutus. No, I'm trying to remember. Octavian. And one other whose name I can't remember. But in any case, that's why. So I started reading. Ask me what time I finally fell asleep last night.
What time did you finally fall asleep last night?
Le pillé en otro error. Siempre con el verbo to fall, cazo a la gente. Ask me what time I fell asleep last night.
What time did you fall asleep last night?
What time did I fall asleep? She wants to know what time I fell asleep last night. She wants to know what time I fell, caer, ya dormido. What time I fell asleep. Tenemos dos formas de decir dormirse o quedarse dormido cuando uno quiere dormirse. Porque cuando uno no quiere dormirse, pero no puede evitar quedarse dormido, se dice to fall siempre. To fall asleep es accidental o a propósito, porque uno quiere, intencional. But to go to sleep es intencional. Cuando uno se acuesta, normalmente es con la intención de dormirse, de ya dormir. So when you go to bed, usually you want, or when we go to bed, we want to go to sleep. Okay, but sometimes we can't. And we toss and turn from one side to the other of the bed. And finally, at some moment, we fall asleep. Okay, it's by accident. We don't remember, okay, to fall asleep. Have you ever fallen asleep in class?
No, I haven't.
Ask me if I have ever fallen asleep in class.
Have you ever fallen asleep in class?
Yes, I have. Once. Sitting on the front row. Toma. Yes, I had taken antihistamines. But I took an overdose. I took double.
Okay.
Because I had very strong springtime allergy. Fiebre del heno, hay fever. And so I took 2. I could not stay awake. In front of the teacher. And I was a model student, and she was so surprised. Okay, now, ask me if there are any World War veterans in my family.
Are there any World War veterans in your family?
Bueno, he precisado de la Segunda Guerra Mundial.
Okay.
Ask me if there are any World War II veterans in my family.
That's difficult. Are there any World War II veterans in your family?
Yes, there are 3. Yes, my father and my 2 uncles.
Okay.
All 3 of them were pilots in the Second World War. 2 in Europe and 1 in the Pacific. Okay. So yes, hay dos formas para decir las dos guerras mundiales. World War I or the First World War. The First World War con the delante. The First World War was from 1914 to 1918. The Second World War was from 1939 to 1945. Or World War I, World War II. Ask me which one I use the most.
Which one do you use the most?
Probably I say World War I, World War II. Yes, World War II, World War I.
I can't say that.
How do you say for example, ahora lo voy a pillar, lo voy a hacer que sufre un poco. Traduce la frase siguiente. La peor guerra mundial fue la Primera Guerra Mundial.
The worst World War was the First World War.
Okay, the First World War, the worst World War was the First World War. Not the Second World War, the First World War was the worst World War. Repeat?
I can't.
Okay, okay. The worst World War was the First World War. Okay, but it's not really true. Ask me if more people died in the Second World War.
Did more people die in the Second World War?
Yes, a lot more people died. Ask me how many people died in the First World War.
How many people died in the First World War?
Were or war?
War.
Okay, about 10 million. A lot of people. But in the second, 16 or 17 million. It was incredible. If you include the civilian deaths in Russia, in the Soviet Union, the German Wehrmacht was just followed by the SS. So the Wehrmacht, the war machine, what they call the Wehrmacht, entered and went from the border with the Soviet Union all the way practically to the Volga in Stalingrad in the south, to the outskirts. ¿Cómo se dice las afueras?
Outskirts.
The outskirts of Moscow in the center, and to the outskirts of Leningrad or St. Petersburg in the north. There's a long line covering about 3,000 kilometers, and the SS was going in after them to clean up, and it was horrible. The Russian people suffered a lot, much more than any other people in that war. Well, the Germans suffered a lot too, but they started it. So in any case, the worst World War was not the First World War, really. It was the Second World War. Okay, but there are some World War II veterans in my family. Are there any World War II veterans in your family?
No, there aren't.
Okay. Ask me if stage actors spend a lot of time rehearsing.
Do stage actors spend a lot of time rehearsing?
Usually, yes. You're a stage actress. Have you ever acted on the stage?
Yes, I have.
Do you like it?
Yes, I do.
All right. How old were you the first time you acted on a stage?
18.
18. Were you?
Well, in school when I was little.
All right, good.
I
Yeah, but when you were 18 was the first time you acted on stage? Seriously?
Yes.
Okay, on your own initiative, not because the teachers were preparing you.
Yes.
What was your first role?
It was secretary in a comedy sketch.
All right. Were you nervous?
Yes, I was.
Did you suffer? How do you say miedo escénico in English?
Stage fear.
No, stage fear, no. Ask me how to say miedo escénico in English. English.
How do you say miedo escénico in English?
Stage fright.
Okay, right.
To frighten is asustar. Fright is miedo. Pero también se dice to be afraid. Yo tengo miedos, I am afraid. Ahora, estoy sufriendo miedo escénico porque tengo que estar en el escenario, stage fright. Ask me if I suffer stage fright.
Do you suffer stage fright?
No, I don't. Okay, ask me if I have ever acted on a stage.
Have you ever acted on a stage?
Of course, yeah, many times. Well, many times, quite a few. How do you say bastantes veces?
Quite a few.
Quite a few times. It's very common in the States to act in front of people. And ask me if I would have liked to have become an actor.
Would you have liked to have become an actor?
Not really, no. It was not, I never proposed becoming an actor, okay? But I would have, if somebody had offered me a role, I would have said yes. Ask me why I would have said yes if somebody had offered me a role.
Why would you have said yes if someone
had offered
you a role?
Because I always say yes to everything. I never say no. Ask me why I never say no.
Why do you never say no?
No se dice así la pregunta.
Why do you...
No, empiezo con negativo.
Why don't you ever say no?
Ahí está.
Okay.
Vamos a repetir esto para el público. I never say no to any proposal. Ask me why.
Why don't you ever say no?
Okay, because you never know what opportunities can arise from these type of offers. Well, I will say no if somebody offers me something that's not interesting. If somebody says to me, Richard, would you like to become a member of the Corsican Camorra? I'll say, well, no, thank you. Would you like to join this drug company, this group, to import drugs? No, thank you, of course. if things are illegitimate or illegal, no. But if it's legal and it seems interesting, it's why not? My philosophy on life is why not? Nunca se sabe lo que está a la vuelta de la esquina y suele ser positivo lo que está ahí. All right. Do you agree?
Yes, I do.
All right. So you're not typical of your compatriots.
I don't know.
Spanish people are very conservative. They're very
Yes.
conservative. Are you conservative?
No, I'm not.
All right. Ask me how much time we have left.
How much time do we have left?
Do we have left?
Do you have left?
We have 5 minutes left. We have enough time to do some things. Ask me if Cleopatra is still the Queen of Egypt.
Is Cleopatra still the Queen of Egypt?
No, she's not. She died a long time ago. Did she die of natural causes?
I don't know.
Ask me if she died of natural causes.
Did she die
Of.
of natural causes?
No, she didn't. Ask me how she died.
How did she die?
She committed suicide. Ask me how old she was when she committed suicide.
How old was she when she committed suicide?
I don't really know. I think she committed suicide in 31 BC. Now, she met Julius Caesar. I think she was about 21. And she met Julius Caesar in the year 46 BC. So if she was 21 in 46 BC,
30.
she was 31 in 36 BC, so she was 36 maybe when she committed suicide. Ask me how she committed suicide.
How did she commit suicide? Suicide? Suicide?
Suicide.
Suicide.
Pero te has equivocado con el verbo.
How did she commit suicide?
Good. She committed suicide with 2 or 3 snakes, poisonous snakes. Yeah. I can't remember the type of snakes. Víboras. Vipers, I think. But special type of African vipers, I think, okay? Why not? Okay. That's better than jumping from the top of the pyramids, okay? All right. So, and ask me why she committed suicide.
Why did she commit suicide?
Because she didn't want to continue living. She thought she would be executed. Ask me why she thought she would be executed.
Why did she think she would be executed?
Because she had lost the war. Ask me what war she had lost.
What war
Had she?
had she lost?
She and her lover or companion, Mark Antony, lost the Battle of Actium against Octavian, Octavio, the nephew, the adopted nephew of Julius Caesar. And you see, when Julius Caesar was assassinated, there was a civil war in which Brutus and Cassius, 2 of the leaders of the conspiracy, ¿cómo se dice conspiración?
Conspiracy.
Okay, 2 of the leaders of conspiracy were killed in a battle in what is the old Yugoslavia, all right, by Antony and Octavius. And then they divided Antony y el futuro Augusto, César Augusto. They divided the empire into the western section and the eastern section. And Antony, Mark Antony, together with Cleopatra, they managed the west-eastern empire. But Octavian, they had problems. And so Octavian finally decided to fight against them, and he won. All right. And 1 or 2 days before Cleopatra committed suicide, Mark Antony committed suicide too. So she lost her lover, and she was losing her kingdom. And she was afraid she would be executed, so she optó por.
I don't know.
She opted for suicide. She opted to commit suicide, to opt. Yeah, you didn't know that.
No, I didn't.
Optar, se usa mucho, como en español, to optar por, to opt for. Option.
Okay.
You have options. What are my options? I can stay alive, or I can commit suicide. In this case, the option she chose was suicide. Okay. Ask me how much time we have left.
How much time do we have left?
I don't know. We have half a minute left. We have to go. One more. Can your ask me if my voice can reach the highest note on the piano?
Can your voice reach the highest note on a piano?
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, re, mi, fa, sol. No, I can't. My voice cannot, or can't, reach the highest note on the piano, and it can't reach the lowest either. Ask me how many keys there are on a piano.
How many keys are there in a piano?
On a piano.
On a piano.
88. You didn't know that, did you?
Mm,
Yes? All right. Well, we have to go. It's been a pleasure again, Monica. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And it's been a pleasure to have you here, but I'm coming back in 5 minutes. Bicho malo aquí nunca muere. So, don't go too far away. Don't run away, because we have 30 more minutes to go. All right.